I think probably in middle school I had recollections or realizations that I was gay, but wasn't sure what it meant. Growing up in a religious household was not okay to be gay, so changing that or denying that, getting rid of those feelings was important. I really didn't deal with it until a little bit later in my life and into my 20s. It was it was definitely unspoken that it wasn't okay to be gay, and it was very biblical based, as you usually hear when religion is used as an example of why people shouldn't be gay. My town is a little bit smaller, but there were gay people, and they were always like, "Oh, those people." So I didn't really have much affinity with them because I just thought, oh, they're not like me. I'm different. I'm, an exception. I think growing up in school, I was always teased for being gay. So it was like the outcasts or the, effeminate guys. They were labeled as gay. And now looking back on it, being on Facebook, I know a lot of people I went to high school that are gay that I didn't know at the time. So it really teaches me later in life that if you actually were out and okay with who you are in high school and all the other people who are gay were that way also, you'd have a great group of people to hang out with, and a little kind of gay clique to do things with, and it wouldn't be so scary and you wouldn't feel so alone. So it almost would be great if youth of today realize that as it's happening, instead of later having that realization that oh, I wasn't alone. There were 10 other people at my high school that were gay too. They just were too afraid to come out, just like I was. Accepted it probably in my early 20s. In my later end part of my college years, I realized that things weren't going to change. I wasn't going to overcome this. It wasn't just temporary. And I knew I had to come out to my family because it was just getting too hard to lead this double life. People always ask, "Oh, do you have a girlfriend yet?" And you have to make excuses why you don't. So I think it just, you reach a point where you just realize it's just not worth it anymore to not be who you are. Until I was definitely sure, quote unquote, that I was gay. I wanted to make sure, date girls, and the whole religious upbringing said, you can overcome this with prayer and going to meetings and doing all this. But so, I kind of just gave it a good effort, but realized that it just isn't something that you change. I think it's just a life process. I think most people kind of go through who are gay. So my mom probably knew deep down early on, or earlier than others did, and kind of just knew that revelation was coming. They all were really not cool with it at first, and I thought that would just be the worst in the end, and my family's going to disown me, and I didn't feel like they would kick me out, but I knew they wouldn't be happy with it, and they wouldn't want me to be that way. Over time, they've totally changed. They're incredibly supportive. They totally understand, that's who I am. They're supportive of my boyfriends or anybody that I'm with. It seems like nobody's going to be on your side. Nobody is there for you and your family, who should love you and want to be with you and accept you for who you are. Seems like they're not going to ever get there, but they will. At least in my case, time is the big healer of everything, and so I'm not going to say that it's not going to suck or it's going to be a little terrible at first, because they've got all this huge baggage of issues that they have to deal with as you're going through separate issues. Once you come through on the other side of that, you'll actually be closer to your family. So coming out is actually a really good thing, and it's probably the best thing that gay people can do. It not only just with their family, but relationship with friends, feeling comfortable with who you are. Being yourself, it's the biggest self-esteem booster. Things will just definitely change in your life for the better because you came out. Everybody I know, I tell, you have to come out, because there's strength in numbers, and once you come out, you actually find that there's a community there to support you. People who are total strangers have gone through the same thing that you did, and they'll be there to support you if your family doesn't. And like I said, chances are your family will come around and love you for who you are.